So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. Just now, when Nanako was attending to him, she heard him whispering. When she asked him who the people were, he suddenly looked panicked. It looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looking frantically around him, all the while he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew, others we didn't recognize. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's, his senior, in fact. But Sensei defeated him Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. Thankfully, the shrine maidens managed to subdue him. The ritual has now begun. All we can do is patiently await the result. Here's hoping Sensei... Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water. If he wakes up, he is...
Huh? Who's that sneaking around? Uh-oh, we won't let them get away with it. Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up? Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. Aha! Suspicious person sighted! That's gotta be him!
How did you catch up with me? Are you sure you're Domon's disciples? You move even quicker, unless... I guess it's been a few years.
Excuse me? We're the ones asking, and what are you doing sneaking around these parts?
Bad news? I'll have you know I trained side by side with Domon back in the day. I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you must know...
His senior? Wait.
Anzai? Yes, that's me. Because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated with him ever. When we were young, we trained under the same sword master. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to me as a... Practitioners of Make-Yoshi Sui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. So the majority of disciples are... But Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go straight to our sensei and ask him, with a beaming smile on his face. Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. Sensei said that coveting the title of the best sword master, barely days into his training, showed that... I thought so too at the time. But Domon began making swift progress in his... Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had long since... He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in the world. He sought nothing less than perfection in the art of the sword, and nothing could deter him.
Sure sounds like he meant business. So how come you don't...
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that I would succeed our sensei as the master. Of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. I had trained the longest. Everyone had high expectations from me. Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, I lost not just the match, but my pride and my status too. Later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei too. Sensei was advanced in years by then, and unfortunately that match... After that, I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, I still respected his mastery of the blade. So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, my first reaction was to dismiss them as false. How could he, of all people, have lost his mind? I decided to quietly come and see if it were true. Then, to my complete astonishment, I heard him call my name. So you see, I came here not to cause him any... Okay, you've heard my story. You should get back now.
Seems like we got it wrong this time. He wasn't here to mess... Still, Paimon's not sure we should bring him back with us.
You're saying, does that mean he's just lost his mind? But how is that possible?
Nanako, please. Try not to get it.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can find no sign of any malignant. But spirits may take a myriad of forms in this world, many of which I cannot claim to have witnessed myself. And all is certainly not lost. For I received word not long ago that Lady Yai has taken an interest in—
Lady Yai? Is that the same Lady Yai that I think you mean?
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine? That's wonderful news!
Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable indeed, and has abundant experience in the exorcism of evil spirits and aversion of great calamity. I am unable to say for certain whether an evil spirit has possessed your sensei, but Lady Yai can give a conclusive verdict.
Excuse me, Miss Inagi, but I must ask, should we prepare a greeting gift for—
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your timely arrival at the Grand Narukami Shrine. Lady Yai does not like to be— I must leave now, but we will meet soon at the shrine. I wish Domon a full—
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself would have taken notice of our sensei's case?
Do you mean to say that Sensei isn't renowned enough to deserve Lady Yai's attention?
No, that's not what I meant at all. You misunderstand me. I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maiden. She has direct and close contact with the almighty Shogun herself. Anyway, you should join us too, tomorrow. Given that you've traveled all this way just to meet our sensei, we, the disciples of Meikyo Shisui Art, will do our best to help you.
Sure! After all, everyone seems pretty excited about Lady Yai. We're curious to meet her too. Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to find out a thing or two about the Raiden chip.
again. By the protection of the Electro-Archon, may the blossoms of the sacred Sakura bloom eternally.
Surely that child isn't slacking off. Do you think that's Lady Yai? Oh, no wonder Junyo is so excited. Also, is it just Paimon? Or did she look right at us just... it was probably nothing. It's not like she's...
Keep away. Keep away from me. I gave up the art of the sword. Please, let me go, I beg you.
As you can see, Lady Yai, Domon has persisted in this state for some time now. He appears to see those who have lost to him in duels.
Lady Yai, it must be a possession, right? This is nothing like him at all. In the past, no matter what came his way, he would always face it with a confident smile.
I'm sorry. It is clear to me that your sensei is not possessed by any evil.
But then did...
Yes. This is a change. Unable to cope with the tremendous pressure he was under, he suffered a spiritual collapse. With his wits impaired, he finally descended into... As one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament, it does nothing to prevent his descent into the depths. As for what has triggered this change, I believe it must be the loss of his vision. For to be stripped of one's vision is to be...
Stripped of his ambition? But Lady Yai, even without his ambition, why should he suffer such a dramatic change?
Your school practices Meikyo Shisui art, does it not? Stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. What a fine notion that would be if any in this world could ever... There was once one who claimed to be indifferent to rank and reward, and who fled enraged when defeated by his junior. And then there was an aged swordmaster who was aggrieved enough that he crossed blades with a disciple he himself had... Then, what of the one who crossed blades with his own sensei and beloved fellow disciple, and defeated them both?
Lady Yai, I'm not sure I understand.
The path of the swordmaster is filled with twists and turns. It is no small undertaking to pursue. It requires one to take their sword firmly in both hands and cut down the hopes and dreams of others. Only a deep commitment to his ambition to become the best made it possible for him to rise above the pain of these encounters. When that ambition disappeared, he began to doubt himself. As he battled his growing anxiety, he slowly descended into the state. Much like a certain...
Poor sensei. To think he's been suffering so...
I'm sorry. It's all my fault, Father. Sensei.
That's enough.
Huh? Isn't that Anza? Did he follow us the whole...
Ansai, why are there two of you? Is that you or... You're here for revenge, aren't you? I knew it would come.
You're right to assume that my feelings towards you are far from kindly. It's been so long now that I made peace with it years ago. You did nothing wrong that day. I don't think most of the people you beat along the way would hold it against you. On the contrary, when you cut our ambitions short, we entrusted them to you. Now I know that we can't place our hopes in you any longer, since you've been stripped of your ambitions too. But that is no reason to strip them of theirs. Follow the way of the sword all the way to the highest peak. You taught them that, didn't you?
But what if one day, the same thing happens to them? I put everything I had into trying to become the best. But what if it was all a huge mistake? If there's a chance they'll end up like me one day, I'd rather they stay where they are now than go any further down this...
Have you asked them what they think?
Sensei, after you rescued me from the hands of the pirates, I told myself I would follow in your... I can't know whether I will suffer in my future as you do now. All I know is that here, and I want to keep going until the day that I can stand before everyone with my head held high and announce that I, like my...
Nanako's far from the only one. Actually,
Goodness.
You see? You can place the ambition. Being stripped of your ambition is something that's never happened to me, so I can't claim to understand it. But I do know what it feels like to have your ambitions crushed. That's what happened on the day that... So, just as I once placed my ambitions onto you, you are not in the same position that I was. When I left, I had nothing to my name.
I'm sorry to have made you worry for me, and for the state of Miyakyo Shisui art. I no longer have the resolve to become the best in the world. The emptiness and suffering inside of me will not abate, so I cannot hope to still my mind and be... But as your sensei, I shall commit to imparting unto you every... This is my promise. And I humbly ask Anza...
You can count on that. I'd be checking in on you occasionally anyway, just to make sure you hadn't lost. But I am now used to the life of a wanderer. I do not belong in the dojo anymore, so I will simply stop by once in a while. Well, don't just stand there staring at me. Say thank you to Lady Yae and...
So even though his ambition was taken away, his disciples can take it over on his behalf. Guess that sort of solves this one, huh?
Traveler, a moment, please. Lady Yae has some words for you.
So, my intuition was correct. The wind that blows from afar carries fresh life to the... For us to meet now is premature. Nevertheless, you set foot on these islands at precisely the right moment. I have high hopes for you, child.
Ooh, Lady Yae seems to have taken a real interest in you. She seems super mysterious. Paimon's so curious what she... We can come back to it another time. For now, we should go report...